Yeah, so I just want to discuss this whole Neymar situation. As you may know or may not know, Neymar is in fact injured. He's missing the Copa del Rey. And I was watching ESPN not too long ago, a video clip on YouTube, and they were saying that Neymar's injury is his fault. I thought I'd make a video discussing that. Um, I'd start by saying that guy made a very good point, whoever that pundit was, in the fact that Neymar is to blame for his own injury. Neymar has been struggling this whole season. In fact, he's been out for a couple of months before that, and then as soon as he returned from that injury, he's managed to pick up another injury, which is disappointing for fans of Neymar or the neutral, because he's such a great player to watch. He's such a sensational player. So it is sad that he won't be featuring in the Copa del Rey. Um, But it is a great point, I think. It's a point you've got to think about. The fact that Neymar's injuries, certainly ankle injuries and knocks that he picks up during games, are his fault. He's a player that he likes to hold on to the ball a lot. He has a lots of flair. He likes to carry the ball, maybe take too many touches of the ball. So he does run the risk of being fouled and picking up little knocks here and there. So um, it's a thing of, I think Neymar does need to adjust his game as he does get older. He's 27 now. I don't think a lot of people realise just how old he is, and he still plays like a player that's just been asked, go out there and express yourself, go out there and take players on. He still plays like that. Well, I think is now he's at the age where he should have adjusted his game and be trying to score like more goals rather than trying to take on players and trying to be flashy with skills and whatnot. Because that's all good and well to watch and stuff like that for YouTube clips and all that, but I think it gets to a point where you're looking to win individual awards. I know he's interested in winning the Ballon d'Or. I think he's come out clearly and said that he wants to win the individual awards. I think that was a catalyst, and that was one of the main reasons why he actually left Barcelona, because he wanted to win the Ballon d'Ors and certainly increase the goal tally. But for the first season, I mean, his time at PSG, especially last season, has been a difficult one because of injuries. There's no doubt he has contributed with like goals and assists and whatnot. But I think he would probably agree, along with PSG, that it has been a disappointing season, and he hasn't featured. He didn't feature in the when PSG were knocked out in the Champions League, and he certainly could have made a change. But I think this is something he needs to do. He needs to really sit down and think about, what do I want to achieve in football? Because he's certainly, at such a young age of 27, he's certainly achieved a lot. He's won the Champions League. He's won the La Liga. He's won the league with the Liga with PSG. He's won the Copa del Rey with Barcelona. And of course all of the championships he's won in Brazil. But if he does want to win the individual awards like Cristiano Ronaldo and Messi, he has to adjust his game. I think it has to come from him picking up the ball, say beating one player, and then giving it, and then getting into a position, goal scoring position, or pulling out wide, just to sort of mix it up a bit and make him less predictable. Because what he does now is he picks up the ball, beats a player, then beats the player again, and then beats the player again, or beats another player, and it's just way too many touches the ball. It slows down the game, and it's almost unnecessary at this point. He needs to just get the ball, beat one man, or get it out of his feet, get it out wide, give it and go. Certainly how Hazard, and then every now and then beat 2 or 3 players in the 70th, 80th minute when players are knackered. It would certainly help him preserve more energy. It will decrease the amount of injuries he picks up, amount of knocks he picks up. Because if you do look at, say for example, a Cristiano Ronaldo, he adjusted his game so early on. He was a player that beat 3 or 4 players. That certainly, if you watch him the early days at Man United, he'd come in, he'd do the step overs, the shimmies, and he'd beat 2 or 3 or 4 players, and he'll whip a crossing, and that will be his highlight for the whole game. But I'm sure, he'd pick up goals here and there, but that would be the main highlights, the little flicks and that. But I think he reached the point where he asked himself, what do I want to achieve in football? Do I want goals, or do I want nutmegs and leaving players on the ground from skills, or do I want to achieve individual accolades and win championships and become the best in the world? And I think that's when, at point, he adjusted his game. It was very early on. He adjusted his game. He started getting more in the box more. He'd pick it up in the field, knock it out wide, and then run straight into the box and try and score. Or he'd beat one player, knock it out wide. Always focused on getting in the box. Always focused on getting out wide and making sure that he's in a position to score, which is probably one of the reasons why he's the player he is today, and why his goal scoring record is astonishing. And I think that's what Neymar needs to do. Neymar needs to be a bit more clever and be a bit more like a striker rather than a winger who's just going to beat 3 or 4 players. And I think it's certainly possible he could win the Champions League. He can win with PSG, as well as winning the Ballon d'Or. He's got all the talent in the world. It's just a question of him being just a bit too flashy, I think.